Soap DM unloaded for everyone. Immersion awaits as our next fight continues between Pint Gaming posing up in the red, Forfans in the blue. Let's see who is the contender for Witness Gaming, probably in the grand final, as Pint Gaming has been slaughtering the competition and the favorites as our very first mid-fight unravels.
Absolutely, the Frenchie's getting across the point immediately. Brugman is trying to go in, but he's immediately denied by Alien Dude. Sticky's perfectly set for him.
Not.
Can't find what he wants, and it's actually going to be here. Pint Gaming running forward. A couple of Frenchies in their combo, still chasing. They want to get onto Mula, but Mula's all the way back in spawn. Will be safe for now, but has to wait on a couple of spawns because Pint have not been stopped whatsoever.
French soldiers do not contest our French medic, though it is Vopt falling down as he tried to cook something up, but they're still not relenting. Andy is on the barrels, only really observing it all, but now the second point is kept here. The four France team firmly set on their own last. It all stemmed down from this mid-fight. They didn't find a singular rocket there on Patchouli, and Pint Gaming is already dictating the flow.
Absolutely, the bomb is coming in, it's onto Mula, and there we go, we get the force. Smile with the breakthrough, getting the force out onto Mula. Absolutely no decision for him to make, he has to pop there. Force is out, Patchouli sitting pretty with 100%. They're just going to wait on that Smile spawn, and then they're going to go for a full advantage push.
Brilliant Smile. Turn that frown upside down. Leave the frown for Forfans, so they have a third F in the name. Frowning Forfans. QB is already staring the left side. This is probably where they're expecting this Troika of Doom to come in. Charging, bulldozing! Alien sent straight to Mars. QB on the sniper rifle on the longest shooting marksman. This Uber push is cancelled.
Yeah, and immediately you can see Pint Gaming just get straight out of there, don't even risk it. They still have 5 players up, they don't have a demo man to lock down these shutters, lock down these entrances. So you can see Delhi trying to just muscle his way through. Nice rocket from Brugman, getting a load of damage down onto that scout lift. Being able to take out Warps as well, but they're losing players. QB and Jamul both down. Soki traded out, it's a 2 for 2, but that's probably going to find for Pint Gaming. It's going to allow Andy to just walk forward. He's walking on to Delhi. Delhi's taken super low, but he will escape for now.
Alien is leaping in. They're already claiming some cap time. Mula did not want to leap into the spawn, and that means he is forced in the end. They were not letting go. You saw the scuffle fight in the lobby before. Then, though, Andy taking the lead once more in his hands, a 3K before he perished, and that knocks Patchouli up to a sizable 60% Uber advantage.
And crucially, only losing one player in that aggressive wave there. If they'd lost a few players, it would have been very possible for the Frenchies to just go straight out and re-push, but now they've been stuck back on last, and once more they're going to have to deal with Patchouli's Uber.
Double sticky on the ground now, though. Alien is not headshot in mid-air. He was just fired out of a cannon, went so fast. They're breaching the Mach 5 wall. Ending down, though. So much cap time provided by Soki, though, has to wash his hands in disquiet, but it is still, though, Alien battling about. Demon on 7 HP. They have to throw everyone on the point here. Warped comes in. Can he claim Mula? Hot out. Still, it's a 1v1. Able to keep alive. They hold on with a hair.
I thought Warps had done it. He takes out Mula on 98%, but Delhi stood strong. It was the French soldiers to start with that did the damage. Brugman killing Andy as he just took that Uber beam off him, just taking him out immediately. But it was just about enough. The explosive classes on the Forfans team standing strong, hitting their shots, finding the frags needed. It was very, very close. There was so much cap time by Pint, but they couldn't quite break it open. But regardless, they're still on second. They still have relatively even Ubers here. And actually, if they build well, they might even have a little sliver of advantage to push with.
They're envisioning on either a suicide wave or a push. We've already seen 2-point pushes, but Warped is the turnkey coming through dungeon, trying to incarcerate some more players. It's a 1v1. Basically, Brugman has the heals provided before. Andy, however, responds in kind to trade it out. Andy, another one. Delhi, though, racking up to a 6K. They want to traverse instantly. The Ubers have now equalized in terms of percentage, and he does keep alive. The heals are provided. This Uber, this force play is called off.
Oh, no French soldiers, so there's so much space for those 2 Pint Gaming scout rats to run in and try and just focus down Delhi. But Delhi was a match for it. Captain now coming in, Andy Dude once more going for the play. He's going to get spotted out, but it's going to allow the bomb to come in from Warp, but Mula was absolutely ready. Hides back in that spawn, absorbs it, saves himself, preserves his life, preserves his Uber. So the sack play, good attempt for sure by Pint, but didn't quite work out.
Deftly, Patchouli used his own crossbow, Crusader's crossbow, to deal with the sentry gun so his own soldiers could initiate, but both of them partook in that attempt. It ultimately doesn't lose anything. 30 seconds, though, to go as we are unlocking our Avarices, charging through here, rallying up another host, another college triad. Instantly, it prompts the rotate since Pyro was on top right. Do they have more success through the left side?
Not a successful Uber trade, but they did get rid of the sentry gun, and now they've got so much space on this left-hand side. Andy doing his best. Bomb in from Smile. Going to take the high ground, going to take that area where you can just shoot down rockets. Warped is in as well. Some cap time finally coming in from Pint, but everyone is just holding from forefence, unmoved, unbroken, and we'll go to another mid-fight.
What a precursor to a mayhaps potential best of 3. Also, we see Smile here. Perfect. I mean, Mula is known for milking it out as long as possible, dodging, hopping, weaving, diving, but they're being claimed, and they basically stood on their own last point for 6 minutes. I will repeat myself, it is a precursor to this matchup. The second mid-fight is where we end up now.
Yeah, Delhi going a little bit slow, wants to get some arrows so that he's a little bit more healthy for that mid-fight. Would have been risky going through flowers. Roachman is in, onto the medic. Patchouli taken down so low, eventually cleaned up. It's actually Delhi who claims that frag. And now
counter collapse.
Can they keep Mula alive? Delhi's so low. Warped going in for the play. But I think just about the Frenchies have backed up enough. Everyone hiding in that cafe area. It's going to be enough. They're going to win the mid, and they're going to have a big advantage.
Now you know why he's called QB. He had a QB camera for everyone to have the roles reversed. Speaking about reversed roles, 100% now in forefence hands and already talking through their push. How do we want to do it? Delhi receives a buff. They have a lot of leeway here, so it's a simple scenario. Buff your players up.
Yep, taking their time, getting their buffs. Seeing what is on hand. Andy's up on the engineer. We've got Soki on the sniper. A lot of threats coming in, but it's just going to be an Uber to get rid of the sentry gun immediately. Engineer has swapped off now, and Sticky's across the point from Delhi. Just spacing people out. Brudgeman going in for a bomb, not really committing. Everyone's kind of pinned in that left side.
Cap time! Someone is having to have a duty here. Assume a duty of looking at the cap. It was the derivative once more of a prior match we've seen. A double soldier nuke that was basically used as a distraction, but the scouts were not able to, well, prompt that cap time to instantly go into their own favor because the Uber was very well thought of by the defending Pint Game.
Yeah, they got some players in, they got some position, but they didn't get the absolute clinical push into that left-hand side. So now it's going to be Pint Gaming moving their way into mid. They have an Uber ready to go. Mula's not going to be up at his just yet. QB's actually up on the sniper here. Gets a little body shot off onto that sailing soldier up in the air, but it's not going to be what he wants. Probably wanted to go for a play to either kill the medic or get the force out. Not going to matter at the end of the day. They've stabilized. They've got their position on second now, have the Frenchies, and they've got their own Uber ready to go. So probably going to settle down a little bit into a stalemate.
Might be the first case forward, but you can always watch out for Smile, who hopped forward, give himself vision. I can envision, though, maybe the green area being a bit more of an importance here. Smile has a bit of a fake bomb. It felt for me, but maybe the flank soldiers up for the grabs. Never mind. Depruu has some extra carriages dragged to him. He keeps alive. Smile also only panorama bombing.
Yeah, just baiting some players out, going for those fake bombs. So you never know. If you're spotting that one soldier in there, you have to be on guard. The other soldier can come in at any time.
No Soki.
So yeah, Soki Dude's been spotted out. Nevo just catching him in the cafe area, I believe. So immediately the Frenchies now there on the front foot. They're pressuring in from cafe here to make sure.
Another one, Wop there, was waiting for an aiding bolt, but the same ailment that his teammates received before means 2 players down, instant push. That prompts also, it is sort of even here in the in the Uber duration, but apparently the red team is leaving since it's still a two-man disadvantage. Andy is sold in the mid. It means though Petschulli is able to leave out, and it is a prolonged mid fight. But Forfans, double pick, take an Uber exchange, reap the fruits, midpoint.
Yeah, risky Uber trade, I have to say, from Pint Gaming. We know how confident they are utilizing Andy in these Uber exchanges, but it could have got a lot worse. They could have been completely encircled there. I think it was Depruu had an opportunity to maybe go for Petschulli, but he just about hit a decent enough surf that he felt he couldn't commit for that second rocket that would have claimed a big Uber advantage. So once more, it's going to be Mula with just a sliver of advantage here. Going to be difficult to really work it, particularly when you're pushing into a set defense like we have here on the second for Pint. So once more, it's probably going to be down to which soldier can make an opening with a sack play.
Poking and prodding, raising up a host at a rather pivotal position will probably help their efforts. There's no aggressive Uber foray or anything like that. You see with a silhouette on the left, there's a soldier in Cafe. Scout demo helped by a beam alongside with Depruu in the choke. Honestly, pressure cooking from long range with early damage, because that opens up a venue if you can single out one player or even pre-damage the medic. Depruu tried to go for the soldier that was hiding close. Nivo, however, is the recipient of this benevolent play.
Yeah, Smile just took Demu's rocket and used it to go for a counter sack himself. I mean, it was dealt with for now. Warped in with the play. Takes Deli down very low. Still in.
Perfect position.
Yeah. Really nice surf away from Mula, getting himself out to flowers, but the rest of his team stuck on mid, stuck with no health. Rudgeman in behind as well. No soldiers though for Pint. And actually, Alien is going to get taken out, so they utilize the Uber aggressively. Alien was alone. There's still a combo of double Scout Chariot here for Petschulli, but no one else. They're still waiting for those.
The chase is on! Soki though takes Deli, not only with a grain of salt. Andy takes one Scout. The Uber is popped, but Andy raking up to a 4K. That was interesting. You saw Forfans popping so early, and then eventually not even able to chase out with one Scout, a medic that didn't use Uber initially, but protected by a double Scout. Eventually they had to use it, but they are still in a dictating mood. 12.5 minutes have flown by. Andy is already leaping forward here. So much damage forward. Basically brute forced them all out of this high ground by himself.
Yeah, really nice dry push from Pint Gaming. I think they just had a sixth sense that the Frenchies were not really in a great position to hold that. And as you say, just one bomb comes through, it pins everyone back. They have to back out of there. They don't have the high ground. They can't stop just the leaking Pint players coming in through every single entrance. And they've already got the second point. They have designs on last.
It is a body shot. That works though. Smile's teeth are clopped in. It is 8 seconds until he once more visits us or pays us a visit from the reincarnation chamber. Andy is walking through dungeon. Nothing really of note was changed. It's crazy, Dave. I feel like the conversion rates, we see the warp just on the last point here. I wanted to settle in for a bit of a tranquil position and period. 0-0 scoreline, but both teams are giving each other zero ground.
Absolutely. We're just seeing, cautious sacks at the moment from Pint Gaming. They're not going in for anything super deep. They're not going in for four-mans. They're just relying on both Smile and Warped. What can they do? They can probably find openings if everything goes well. But actually, we have an interloper, I have to say. Andy has gone back to that spawn now, has come up on the sharpshooter.
And Andy Loper, if you want, as 150 is already, but oh, we almost even found a shot there on Mula, but Mula makes some money. Some Mula drops down to the low ground to dodge the sniper. It is only an ephemeral state here, doesn't really open up that many venues. Also QB down to 22 HP, he's only really deflecting that aggression from the top right area. Warped also doesn't find any consequential position. He is a jumper main, so you have to watch out to give him not too much space or any inclines, because that leverages their game. I think they just want to go for a trade here. Yes, instantly it is popped onto Andy. Sentry gun though in their face and a pyro.
Yeah, it's going to be dealt with for now. They're going to be nice and happy. They haven't even had to use that Uber, so Pyro just completely shutting down what they were going for. I mean, it's always risky to go for a trade like that, but oh my god, the Frontier Justice. Captain coming in from Warp Smile, committing as well. He's gone down for his troubles, but with the demo out, there's going to be no stickies on point.
yeah, they have no great Uber target here anyway, as Mula is using. They had such a large Uber advantage, but only the off class is really being of note there. QB also gave an in-game comment, no, you don't shoot any rockets at me. He had sort of the pyro negative emote there, but Nevo was it was all set on Nevo, on an engineer with the Frontier Justice to keep the frontiers clean, crisp, and off enemy gamers. And that means, Dave, an Uber advantage for Pint Gaming.
Yeah, once more, super smart play, but Brudgeman does so well with the incoming rockets, just finding Andy. He would have been the target of that Uber for sure. Now Soki, it's all down to him. He's going to take
using
it
anyway.
It's going to be Alien following up. The sniper is swapped off. There's Captain coming in immediately from Soki, but there's not going to be a second scout for him to combine. Sentry gun once more goes down, but players are up in the air, but no one is on the point and no one is in position. No one can breach that French defense.
The success conditions were also up in the air, if you want to, so to speak. Figuratively speaking, Nevo still hopping around a little bit in the lower lobby area. They have to trail to a rather successful trajectory. Where can we use our Uber to gain the most of it, the most benefits? They're using it being sort of locked down there in their own low ground. It's a second point cap. I feel like this is off contention though, as Smile is making landfall. Delhi though, but Patchouli, they followed the scent. Smell you later.
Absolutely, and Mula just playing in the shutter area, but Nevo's got down. He's going for it. He doesn't have the shotguns as a backup.
On the backup! Oh. They cannot find him! The taunt comes in. I think they even, I thought they even used the kill bind there, but no, Warp comes in and just into a flash market, blows everyone up. Crazy. They tried so often to nail that last point, but apparently you just bait them out and send your carry player behind.
Yeah, just let your medic go down, and then that can allow Andy Dude off the leads. That can allow Soki to charge forward, turn them around, focus them on that scout, gunning them down, and Andy Dude slipped throughout all of that, found the backup, and found the decisive first round.
Let's model the next mid-fight, usually exemplified by soldiers having a mirror image on the sort of roof above the cafe, but Soki is the first one who is not caffeinated after all anymore, though that is Patchouli beaming some players, but the man advantage firmly set in the French favor, which is important. They are down 1-0. They just came from a mind-destroying backcap, basically, so they really have to reset their mentality.
Yeah, they have 5 players, but they have probably less health than 3 on the Pint Gaming guys.
What? I didn't even see where Mula died.
Mula went down early on. The soldiers committed onto him, but now it's a case of can they get Patchouli? They got the force out here, Pint Gaming. Now looking to put themselves back on the mid, and actually the Frenchies, everyone is just backing up, waiting for some gamers to approach them.
Sorry, my mind is wandering a bit, but if you saw Mula went down and then I think he had something in the switch-ups and he just added another 15 seconds to his respawn wave. So that means he now has basically a 40% Uber advantage, and Pint Gaming in a flip-flop scenario already approaching the second point of the enemy team. Brudgeman wants to be the break-even point man, as there is some complementary rockets fired forward. Delhi has a scuffle here, 1v1 against Depruu. Also Depruu does not win that. He's only one going down. Pint Gaming so weak though in their own cafe area.
Oh, they finally did take down Alien there, the Frenchies. I think they would have been in a rough time had they not got that frag. They committed so many resources to it, but Warped is just standing strong. He's going to shut out Brudgeman. No way through that cafe, but it's allowed players in through choke. Warp taken very low. Finally, Delhi's able to det on top of him, take him out. Still Uber up for Patchouli.
One rocket onto Patchouli, but again, serves it out into the green area. It is allowing the counter jump though from Smile. Smile is not the one that helps his team right now. I mean, it does serve some sort of space here. Ultimately, though, Andy had his view distracted. He wanted to prone and pounce toward the cafe side, but he was pressured from choke, which means they are taking a favorable position here. The Frenchie is sort of distracting the enemy team's viewpoint. It's still a sort of mid-fight here. I was surprised that Pint Gaming is even staying into this. The soldiers are still flying up in the air, and he was not aiming for Brudgeman there, I can tell you that much, but it is a prolonged fight.
Everyone's stuck in the corner now from Pint, but they have a lot more health. Delhi down to a single digit of HP, and eventually Warped is going to swoop in, take him out, and everyone is scattered from the forefront side of things. They're going to completely vacate the second they're going to be back to last. They're going to try and get Nevo up on his engineer setup.
Vacate the premises. It's crazy. Pint Gaming is literally taking every fight that they can see. Andy, however, is culled by Brutchman. Warped, jumps in behind. Mula has this book read long ago, however, as Warped is warped into the respawn chamber indeed. Maybe even 2-pick advantage is enough for them, as even still Patchouli doesn't have, so they have to posture themselves a bit more passively into a low ground there. On the second point, the concrete is completely open and free for the grabs for 4 fans here. Brutchman sitting on that namesake fence, and Patchouli popped up in the air. Überfest, way better chase, way better Uber fight for 4 fans.
Yeah, surfing it forward, but surfing it forward into a 4 fence Uber. They're taking out Patchouli, and now everyone is backing up, but there is a flood of Pint gamers ready to chase in and ready to go for that frag and chase down Mula. But everyone else is getting mulched in the meantime. The focus fire is in. The soldiers are bombing into the point. They're going to try and block it. There's a lot of cap time coming in. There's still 2 scouts alive, but no! Brugman comes through. Delhi hits the shots he needs as well. The explosives once more from the Frenchies are absolutely clutch on the last point, keeping them in the game.
That was so clutch. I was completely losing my mind. Pint Gaming said, okay, we lose our medic. We're not even sacking for the enemy team's medic. No, we just take a full fight anyway, and they get Mula in the end. So that basically sets the Uber stakes at a parity stake. There's a soldier, a blue one. High bombing. Andy, though, is the recipient of that play. Warped as well, Alien down. So the 4 fans squadron take that any day of the week.
Yeah, really, really nice. Just circling their medic and taking out anyone who dared step into that second point, anyone who dared land their foot on that sacred soil. And now you can see once more 4 fence. They have some momentum. Delhi just, Depruu just going in and trying to make a little bit of a bait.
Double Soldier rips Nevo apart, and it sometimes disconcerts me how Pint Gaming is playing, but apparently this is why I'm not this high up on the skill level, since they're just taking these on the face value, just disadvantageous fights, but they're taking it into an advantage. Soki, however, is leveraged down in the favor of a 4 fence, and now QB wants to prowl up aggressively. So Delhi on a 6k in all of that. Smile still has a pesky scout in behind to deal with.
Yeah, and both scouts deleted as well, so no one really in a great position to kind of chase him. They're looking to just continue to contest this cafe area. There's a bombing from Depruu. He launches, warped in the air, but he's just able to surf back to his team. QB eats a ton of damage as well from Alien, who's just completely shutting down the area. That's allowing Soki to go forward as well. Smile finds that Depruu frag, but Soki wants more.
They're taking individual fights, which are very interesting, dividing them into splinter groups. 1 to 2 players are fighting 1 to 2 players of the enemy team, but now the choke point is a bit more of an importance, as it is chock full with glowing players as we are entering toward a concrete area. Push and Uber engagement trade. Andy is more opting for the enemy team's cafe. There is Brutchman, who is the first pick. They have sort of circled themselves out counterclockwise. It means so Andy can come in from behind. Mula is down, and maybe he can even find another scout here hiding, but you cannot hide from Andy, from Landy Dude. But apparently, though, Patchouli is patched together in the respawn queue.
Oh my days. Everyone just seemed to forget about Andy Dude. They traded it out. They tried to take position on second, but Andy just went in behind with Patchouli, with the beam, with the Uber, through the cafe area. Gets 1 frag there, and then just comes back and absolutely decimates those French gamers, shooting them in the back, shooting them down, taking them out. I mean, it hasn't really netted them very much, though. They're still stuck on second. No real Uber advantage to work with either as well. But with a round up, they will probably be reasonably happy with the scenario.
Hasn't discouraged them either, though, from being basically 24/7 in this game on a proactive foot, having the foot on the gas pedal and going full throttle. Now, though, the ball from the Joe de Bomb is in the French squad. Malheureusement, though, they are down 1-0, so let's see what they can cook up here. It is Warped going down. That's basically a trade. Soki has his friend intact.
Yeah, I mean, Soki's really, really low, and he's got a load of French gamers that have been able to breach that second point. Everyone was just able to bust through into the point, and now it's actually they're trying to move on to last, but Brugman shut down for now by Andy Dude. He's keeping his medic intact, he's keeping that Uber ready to go for Patchouli. So back to last now for Pint there. Slowly getting pushed back, but they're still a round up and there's only 5 minutes to play.
Can anyone even keep track of how many times Andy doesn't kill an enemy player in 2 shots? It seems to be like just 2 shots all the time. Doesn't even matter the class apparently, but Forfence is trapping in for maybe a suicide wave. They have enough time. It is realistically not even in round reset territories anymore, because once the round reset, that would only leave them with 30 seconds to go, but already they are plastering this point with players. Brudgeman has it about half cap. They use their bodies there to force the Uber. Depruu is the mule that carries them forward, warped down.
Warped down, but he'd already done a lot of damage. He done absorbed a lot of aggression, surfing away from the initiation from the Frenchies. So they're backing up for now. I mean, they've got the
Evo, hello!
Oh.
Anyone watching him? There's the combo also in Tau, but the enemy team doesn't have an Uber to feature against, so Pint Gaming have to basically defend it without having Uber up. Now it's a 3 versus 5 players, and Forfence finally, after a lot of towing the line, after a lot of struggles, as the nominal top dog, they take that to the tie.
Yeah, absolutely. Just about enough dealt with there. But, I mean, they've been working on it a while, the Frenchies. They just seem to be slowly going through the motions, finding the space they required, winning a fight here or there, but slowly just pushing all the way back. And eventually they got a position on last. Eventually they got some real aggression going. I think they really ramped up the aggression in these last 3 minutes. It's working out for them. That's probably why we have Pint Gaming now coming in with a pause, because this is crucial now. We're 4 minutes and 10 seconds on the clock. It's 1-1. The next mid-fight is going to be absolutely pivotal in this game.
There has to be an argument made of one is the best timing, or what is the best moment in time for a tactical pause. Usually people use that once they lose a round and the enemy team is gaining momentum, as to not only halt this momentum, but more so talk about what isn't working for us anymore. Since, yes, we are always highlighting Andy, the landy dude who just rips the enemy team apart, but the accompanying players also just set this up. It is called Team Fortress 2 for a reason. Feel like sometimes Alien is a bit falling down and you hear me stumbling a bit, but that just means I have another insight for you. It is a Forfence tactical pause, actually.
That is an interesting one, because, I mean, I just suggested it was Pint because, you know, naturally, when you lose a round in that kind of scenario, when it gets really tight, when you have been on the back foot for the last few minutes, you kind of expect them to come through with the pause. They perhaps want a mental reset, perhaps need to adjust their gameplay. But it's actually really heads up by Forfence. They know how important this next mid-fight especially is, but also this next phase of play, because it's only 4 minutes. I don't think there's enough time for 2 rounds, so if one team is able to break through, get a decisive victory on the mid, that is basically going to be setting them up for the rest of this map.
I am putting myself on the pedestal to maybe be ostracized, but also just to be chastened if I'm not correct. I think Forfence were probably talking about their mids. Whoever had the mid obviously had the momentum. It didn't really go into instant conversion since we've stuck to the second or to the last point of the enemy team for quite a prolonged period of time, but the next mid-fight ensues. It starts with Brudgeman jumping very aggressively into the enemy team's green area. Smile is dominated by Nevo, and it worked very well here. The tactical pass, Patchouli down as well, left in no man's land. Warped, the only lone survivor for 1 second? Yes.
Yeah, complete wipe. Depruu just did so much work on that mid. They saw that they've gone into flowers, saw they were all bunched up there, just jumped straight in towards that choke point, sits round the corner from that full Pint Gaming combo. Sits there, just fires kind of horizontal rockets.
Smile is spawn camping Delhi, essentially, as he is still... Oh no, sorry, it wasn't spawn camp. Sorry. Twitch chat. Delhi was very forward though. He is down though. That made open so much space here, since they're already bulldozing forward. No stickies to worry about. Some players though to worry about behind. QB raking up to a 3k. The points are a bit sort of screwed up right now. Where is the main action going from?
Looks like they're moving their way onto mid now. Andy just on a bit of a tear right now, just really feeling himself. Wants to get some pressure down onto Depruu. He's just going to play around Tetris, now in for a bomb on towards the medic of Patchouli, but he's just going to swivel out of there, get himself back to second. I mean, they've cancelled the push for now, but they do have a pick to work with.
Uli patched together his team and was keeping alive. It is a 100% that feature gets a 100%, and as, again, exemplified by previous encounters, Andy has his team to pop first since they're taking this proactive situation here. Nevo has a little bit of a longer glow, but doesn't really matter if the high grow...
Oh, Depruu destroys Warps over on the clock tower. That is going to be a big one, and now 3 players left for Pint. They're going to have to back out. Oh, the sinking of the rockets perfectly catapulting Patchouli into the respawn queue. Now it's going to be big advantage from Mula. It's going to be up to about 50% by the time Patchouli spawns. Second point is already in their control.
Andy on Spy, not usual what you see when you are sort of expecting maybe the enemy team to even off Uber push, but obviously it's forfeits. The soldier jumped on the head of the cloaked Spy. That is an interesting position right there, but it slows down from a counter to a trot, mayhaps. Only 1 minute, 10 seconds to go. Pint Gaming won't get this Uber until forfeits push, as I think they're already eyeing up forward from the top right area. Deli being shot out of a cannon, but instantly Andy responds in kind. The longest shooting, rooting marksman, and that halts the push.
Once more, the sniper play comes through on last, deleting Deli, the demo man, and it's this time the Frenchies just immediately backing out, not feeling that the push can work anymore. They're going to still have control of second, but Patchouli is close to his own Uber now.
Situational awareness is that you have full 100%, so you can expect the enemy team to have a drive fight here, as Alien is already dealt with on the perimeter. Broochman, though, lands in a rather passive situation where he can keep alive. Mula, though, is traded out as a counter-frag. Smile is definitely keeping himself and his team in the game since no heal, so it's basically a full-out deathmatch fight right now.
15 seconds.
Patchouli still has Uber. They still have a heavy on the point. Broochman is in behind, not able to be the break-even point man this time around, so we are already heading in our very first map into a golden cap round.
Wow, yeah. They definitely did a good job of trying to make it happen there, the Frenchies, after that fail of that attempted last push, after the snipe from Andy Dude came through. Wasn't quite enough. I mean, I thought it was a little bit risky, honestly, Pint Gaming. They just kind of played back. They got the heavy up. They allowed a lot of space for the Frenchies, but they were happy that there was an Uber in their hands ready to go. So into a golden cap here now. How are you feeling? How are you feeling the two teams are matching up, and who has real momentum going into this golden cap here, Tomato?
These two teams are matching up perfectly. This is the LAN experience I'm always for. We also see our roaming camps here. To answer your question, the momentum, I think, is still, they switched servers, apparently. Guys, just letting you know, maybe they're also a bit confused. You can't, in a playoff stage, end up with a tie on one map.
No, absolutely. slight technical difficulties. Someone's exact swapping to the wrong map. But we'll be back on Sunshine for that golden cap imminently, I imagine. And
but to answer your question, by the way, I sort of dodged it a little bit. Honestly, I think the momentum is still with Pint Gaming, but forfeits is slowly gaining strength. It's crazy, though. You'd think, and they also talked about that, when you are sort of debuting on a LAN, sometimes LAN nerfs, LAN jitters, we're not seeing that at all. Or maybe Andy Dude is the only one who copes with LAN jitters by basically being the best player in the server and taking constant aggressive trades.
Yeah, I thought for the first kind of 15 minutes, first half of the game, it was a case of the Frenchies probably had this idea, this kind of concept going in that this Pint Gaming team is very, very aggressive. They're just going to flood in through every entrance. They're going to push on every opportunity. They're going to initiate and make it happen. And it's a case of we're going to allow them to do that, and we're going to try and shut them down. But that wasn't really working overall. They were always on the back foot. They were sometimes making plays, but even when they were finding Patchouli, that just allowed often Soki and Andy Dude off the leash. They would just go forward, bulldoze, utilize that extra damage that they could do, and just absolutely mulch everyone on the French team. So they couldn't really utilize that kind of strategy. So we saw kind of as the game went on, the Frenchies themselves started with much, much more aggression. They were being far more proactive in the latter stages of the game, and it was working out neater for them for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I also like this argument to be told that Soki and Antidote are leaving the yoke after their medic dies, so they are not reined in anymore by the boring medic beam. No, they can go full force in. Maybe for medic also another idea for weapon could be a leash that you could put onto your players, but this is basically the medic beam. It is interesting, honestly. I do agree to you to some extent. I think the switch up is also that Brutchman and Depruu are not even in sort of stalemates focusing so much on gaining enough field progress and then bombing Patchouli, but rather trying to shoot ancillary players because the damage output seems to be more significant than getting early damage on the medic.
Yeah, we're not seeing as many kind of just static sack plays that you might expect. Kind of populate a lot of 6's TF2. It's more, these teams are more kind of going off the micro advantages. They're getting one pick here or there, they're getting damage, and then they're taking position off the back of it because they know how confident. I think both of these teams are very happy to just uber trade and utilize that pocket scout, especially to just run around. They know if they get early damage, they can immediately go in for a trade, and they can rely on either Andy or Nevo to pick off those weakened players. They can really utilize what those soldiers are doing, and they also know that on both sides of things, the medics are so strong, the support around them, the defense around them is so strong, so they're probably not feeling too confident on the sacks other than on last. They're feeling that, particularly on the second point, on the midpoint, they can just fight it out a lot more.
You have that when you have a rather vocal and very dominant, I should say, main caller. I'm pretty sure Nevo has just so much experience that his entire team revolves more about the actual movement that you see. We also heard the cast talking about this. These Frenchies have played together for sometimes longer than any other player has really even touched Team Fortress 2 before in their French mixes, so they know each other maybe sometimes better than other players that they are maybe nearer to. Don't want to say better than their own families, but honestly, they just say, okay, we do X, Y, Z, we do the play we have practiced there and there, we go through a choke, and everybody knows what they have to do, so you don't have to micromanage players, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's interesting that based on how they've been playing, that they're relying so much on micro positions, but here we go. We are going to be moving into this golden cap here, Tomato.
The golden cap already ensues on our potential best of 3 on a Sunshine. If you ever asked yourself, how is the weather on LAN looking like in an enclosed venue? It is very sunny right now. Sunshine, though, as we are already eyeing up to this golden cap. First mid-fight, potentially Brutchman is taken to the air, making landfall onto the enemy team here, maybe even to be ripped apart, though it is Depruu, his complementary soldier, not on the field anymore. Warped has some freedom worked out for himself since he won the 1v1 versus the soldier, so the bell tower is theirs, and the high ground position alongside with the damage.
Cafe rollout this time for Pint Gaming. It worked very, very well. Both Brutchman and Depruu went up in the air, but weren't able to land on top of those players. They just shot them down. As they landed, they found the damage required. They were able to shunt those soldiers out of the field, back into the respawn point. Depruu's back in now. He's getting a lot of spam down. Alien taking super, super low. Smile on a sliver of health as well. So I think Pint Gaming probably just going to have to back out of there, but I have to do it soon because Brutchman's on the chase.
And quite a precarious situation here. You can see they were not going out as fast as they wanted to be. Out. Mula pops it now on half HP, even milking in the midst of 2 to 3 glowing players. Now the chase might be unlocked here as they are trampling forward, but this indigenous insurrection is at least called off for that moment that Pint Gaming got everyone out. Any spawning, Warped still down.
Yeah, only Warped this single pick, so that's going to weaken the flank for sure. You can see Depruu at the moment, he's just biding his time, just spamming from long range. It's going to be difficult for him to hit a significant rocket onto Soki from there. The QB is over to support him, but they just haven't chanced the hand. I guess Patchouli has a little bit of advantage here, and they're respecting it, but I don't know, they're not playing that far back.
Not that far back, indeed. I mean, it is really just a test of strength here right now of Uber. There's only really long idle spam flying, soaring through the air, but let's see who is the first one shimmering. Pint Gaming have. They're 100% right now, but they are not going forward here, since if you screw up one time, the enemy team can very well capitalize off that. The fence was a bit more important there, that the demos were just trading out spam. Also, they are once more chasing Warped here. They busted this one open. And even trades.
Yeah, Warped is able to trade out. He's able to get the one frag on to QB, but he's taken down by Budgeman. But Budgeman has been caught stuck in behind now. Finally, Smile has to go back. They've taken so many players back. It's really scattered now.
And he chases.
They're having to go in for the aggression.
He doesn't even fear. Like, the medic is not even to him. You see on your top screen, they do that if they open scoreboard, or if we do that, we look on our right side. They had 3 players down there on 4 fence. They had only 1 player down on Pint Gaming, and Andy just saw that and said, come on, I don't even need a healing beam. Let's go, but let's see what he can brew up here when he has a healing beam attached, as they're already trailing fourth through this cafe area. It's a little bit of a slow approach here, really, but Nevo has Andy locked out.
Absolutely, but they get the force onto Patchouli, just caught a little bit awkward in that cafe area. Just nice little bomb onto him, finds the damage required, wasn't able to hit the Giga Surf right back into cafe. So has to pop out, and now they've been pushed back. Big advantage for Mula, and they're already moving on to second.
It can be those small little moments that can so dearly cost you, but Andy is on the sniper class. You can see how he's trying to sort of crack shot peek this. Brutchman though is dealt with on the perimeter. They're still battling about the main side. Andy though is now spotted. The shutter was opened. You can see it, but maybe he has another crack shot go at it. Andy, no, the soldier has him locked out long ago. That was quite hazardous.
Yeah, very risky. Had he gone down there, probably would have allowed the Frenchies to even think about the last push just off the picks that they had. But
by the way, the soldier is still standing in front of the forward spawn. He backspawned, Timur. Do not worry. He's not there anymore. I know it's the boogeyman, probably checking underneath their beds in the future, but he is on last. Soki eventually, even that is on the sniper at least, but switches back to Pyro now. Even Uber situation.
Yeah, you can never know for sure if that sniper's still going to be there. I mean, once your medics crossed, I don't know how kind of important it is to deal with that sniper. I think they could have all just avoided the sidelines. But either way, it's just going to be actually going in from the left side. Are the Frenchies trying to take out Warped in that left spawn door? He's already out of there. I mean, Alien is still on the point, still spamming away, but so much space for forefence.
They're slowly turning the screws here, and you saw how slow, how methodical, how cold-blooded that was. Yes, they lose 3 players on the reverse leg, but if we know anything about Pint Gaming, they will not stop here as the chase is unleashed. It's really about this 1v1, and he doesn't win it, only grabs the health pack, but the other players are trailing into that opened up space, and so far forward the 4-fence squadron is still positioned. 3 players there. They probably only get Andy. No, never mind. The red team didn't even get the memo. They are slowly creeping up on it. They have to watch out for Nevo. It's crazy. Smile Kratos.
Yes, Smile has been caught by QB there, so that's 2 picks actually for them to work with. They're just going to muscle their way in through the top right. Depruu in with the bomb, takes out Alien. Andy's pinned back in spawn. Sticky's on the point, and there we go. 4-fence. They do what's required. They push off the 2 picks, and they claim this first map.
4-fence take it for France. It was crazy if you also account the 30 minutes that we saw before that, you know, being on the back foot for the majority of that, but you said it. They were gaining momentum, and that momentum gain was a perfect conversion rate in the Golden Cap round. Could be, though, the archaic antic of winning your opponent's map pick, as we are once more entering the second map here. Al Saloon for Pint Gaming. 4-fence want to take it 2-0 probably in terms of total maps. Process is the first mid-fight that we have processed in front of our eyes. Warped already has some rockets shot forward, but it's a slow, very slow methodical approach. Now though, the soldiers are taken to the air. Brutchman lands. Smile is dealt with.
Brutchman speeding things up now, and everyone just backing out of there with just the 5 players left for Pint, immediately losing Smile. Actually, Andy has been taken out as well. He was isolated, he's gone down. So with no pocket scout, with no soldier as well. actually going to completely give up second, allow the Frenchies to walk all over them and into this lobby area.
Truly couldn't stand in. The upkeep would have been so costly, but Brutschman is already chasing the enemy team soldier, and they even rip Alien apart here, alienating himself from his own team because they're alive. He is not. Andy, though, was on Sniper ephemerally on a state, but Depruu is also countered as a frag. I think this was a bit of an attempt of how aggressive can we be.
Yeah, I mean, they got rid of Alien, they got rid of that menace that is the Sticky Bomb Demo Man, but the two scouts stood strong.
They're not denying the spawners. Only Brutschman on a late spawner, so basically 5 versus 6.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, they're just chilling for now. It looks like here, Pint, they're happy with the second. They know that both teams have this Uber, so probably gonna settle down for just a minute. Frenchie's already thinking about how they want to maneuver their way into this second point. Delhi opening this shutter area from the sewer. You've got Nevo on the far side as well. He's just spamming people down with his pistol. So the moment just skirmishing, thinking about maneuvering forward, thinking about putting
He's so much spam on Patchouli, down to 40 HP. Delhi hit 3 long range stickies. Depruu was caught there. Warped trades also, not trades at all.
Oh,
just
that's not a trade,
no,
that's a 2k for Warps.
Yeah, crazy.
Coming through. Eventually he does go down, but a 2-for-1 nonetheless.
Nevo wants to take this fight though in his hands as Soki is relinquished on the side flank. It was an ephemeral state. They pre-damaged Patchouli so much, but the double soldier really did not find anything. Now Nevo tries to do that instead, seeking counsel within their own comms, and the stimuli was, let's be aggressive, let's take this Uber engagement.
Yeah, where can they finish though? The French Air Force is flying in. Both of the soldiers, they're isolating so many players. Smo is trying to get out of there. Patchouli's low. Everyone is low for Pint. They're continuing to think about fighting, but I think they just need to scatter back to last, get their heals up, get their hold up, because they almost absolutely collapsed.
They're already stampeding into that point because Warped and Andy still on a 2-second spawner. Delhi is already locking down the left side of the spawn, and Sticky's on the point as well. Plastering them 4 times on the point here. No one really blocking. Only coming up to the front line now, though. Smile and Alien are diverting those aggressive players on the point. It's a bit of a slowdown.
Yeah, really nice hold there, Alien and Smile. As you say, just coming through, hitting the rocket that was required. Actually now already posturing in towards this second area, already thinking about taking some aggression in from upper lobby, with Alien hitting an absolute ton of damage. Back to last base.
Yeah, like,
gonna have
I don't know, like Soki feeds there on the second basically. We wanted him to show up, but that was definitely not the play. Feeding a bit more idiosyncratically forward, and it forces his medic then to use Uber to even assemble some sort of order back into this last fight. Smile was dying, and it took so much time to clean off Nevo.
Yeah, they've got 2 picks here, but obviously Uber ready to go for Mula whenever he needs it.
Boom! By himself, forces an Uber, crazy, even still keeps his team in the game.
Yeah, thinking about pushing off that Andy pick, but there's still 5 Pint Gaming red players ready to go, ready to shut down those entrances. Rotating over to the far side now, the left side of lobby. Brutschman is thinking about going in for a play. Little bit of a fake bomb. Now he's maneuvering in through
the Air
left.
France! Air France swings themselves into a much more prominent lead than what we've witnessed in the very first map. 4 fans take that lead. Pint Gaming, a world of pain awaits your visit.
Just a complete acceleration from 4 fence. Every time they had an opportunity, every time they had 6 players up, they were continually pressuring down on Pint, getting a frag here or there, getting an opening, finding their chances, and a chance was taken.
I can't see if once more on the mid-fight the Air France duo, Brutschman and Depruu, are maybe delayed, but we're strapping in for another schedule here added. Delhi is already having a Dadaistic picture painted, but it is Depruu though initiating here. Patchouli down to 9 HP. They have to cut their losses. They have to keep their medic alive.
Yeah, Smile just really on top of things, spotting out the flank from Brutschman. He went all the way through sewers, but just immediately shut down by 2 neat rockets from Smile. So super, super aware of that potential Frenchman flying in at them, and dealing with them, and now they're already pushing their way into second. They've already got a lot of space here to make, so.
Yes, indeed. Andy is galloping forth in some very aggressive haste here and basically isn't even shot down to below 150 HP, even though there was no ancillary players to focus anymore. But adhering they are to the success formula. It's a diversion. Depruu is counterclaimed. Soki, though, falling. Warp wins against Brutchman.
Yeah, Warp's just going to back out of there on a sliver of health, but everyone else is flooding through. There's not too much health on Pint Gaming at all, but they've got 5 versus 3. And yeah, you can see Mula and Delhi scatter out of there with Nevo back to last. And Pint are thinking about how to breach it.
Let's see if one pick even is enough for them to pressure cook this a little bit from the doors. Here, Alien is entering through left, and there's already a soldier once more taking up to the sky. Smile in panic room. Well, spotted early enough, gets one crucial rocket though on another. Come on, remember, so much cap time coming in. The collapse though, the absolute nuke. Patchouli has to leave with Soki. Can they escape this ever-increasing grip of Delhi? They can.
Yeah, Delhi jumping forward, but they've already scooted out of there with that scout combo. So, I mean, once more, I mean, it wasn't an advantage push, it was this time just pushing off, trying to make a pick, but didn't quite work out. Lost a lot of players for it, and now mid is in peril.
Mid is in peril indeed, but perilous position that is still for the red team as they are conglomerating up upon the low ground, and Brutchman has a brilliant 2K to feature for himself. Some players are exploding in a very aggressive scenario. Brutchman once more, he is hungry. Smile though is calming his friend a little bit down. Andy is not calm at all, just chases, bulldozes forward.
Yeah, Delhi's still nice and healthy, and Andy just doesn't have any ammo to utilize at all. Completely shut down. Mula holds on. That's a little bit of just pistol shots, but it's not going to be enough to get the force. He is going to preserve himself all the way through, and now big Uber advantage to push into second.
I would like to calm down on the screaming. Sorry for everyone who has their volume turned up so loud, but this game definitely warrants it. Now it is a 4-fence push here. 60% Uber advantage. That is enough to have this point be an empty husk, be threadbare in front of your eyes, since this threat of this full 100% is enough. This is another Uber push that we're eyeing up to, but they're sort of caught even in the 3 area and nothing is found. Uber's over.
Absolutely, they don't really find too much. Just a sentry gun, a little bit of cap time now from Nevo, and he's able to shoot Smile out of the air. He's trying to block things. Brutchman in a really nice position. The cap time comes in from Nevo. He just lives throughout all of it, and there we go, 2-0 France.
France, definitely. I just realized yeah, 4 fans. Anyway, but I like the highlight clips. It always is diverting my viewpoint a little bit. What is crazy though, they were always, you know, counteracting the enemy team's movement, maintaining equidistance, but ultimately taking the right side with the soldiers, taking the left side with the scouts. 2-0 lead for 4 fans. Pint Gaming have to slowly now dig themselves out. Mid-fights did look good.
Yeah, demoralizing round after being on their opponent's last, but up to a mid-fight once more. Not too much immediate aggression. Andy is just going to play on top of the crate. Bomb is coming in. It's actually just a little bit of a fake bomb at the moment from Smart. He's just finding position on the high ground once more. Frenchies, no one really anywhere on this midpoint, and everyone backing up at the moment. Bombs now in front of them all. They're gonna find warps. Soki taken out as well, so they might have enough damage here, and Pint are absolutely crumbling.
The chase is now on. Patchouli and Andy have to leave, but there are so many players that want to have another say here at it. Patchouli doesn't even have Uber. They are ripped apart. The dreams are shattered, momentarily at least, as it is a 2-0 lead for 4 fans. They are capping this mid. Now the second is unlocked. Maybe they don't want to be too over-eager to already pressure into that second point, but Pint Gaming, this is one of the hurdles that you have to overcome.
Yeah, you thought with where the Frenchies were, it was just not going to be possible at all. But they played those low ground positions so well. They exchanged spam really decently, and they just put their foot on the accelerator once more. And now they have an advantage push.
The Cinderella might be crumbling a little bit from afar. The sentry gun is still, as a mechanical warden, keeping its own composure. But Patchouli is caught here. They cannot leave through panic into spawn once more, since now they have to deal with this defense. But 3 players down, 0 casualties on France. Basically, now also Soki gunning away Depruu, but it is not a shot for Pint Gaming. And Dave, this time it's a tactical pass from Pint Gaming.
Absolutely. Smile calling the pause. It's just so smooth, so easy for the Frenchmen. They looked completely unmoved, completely unperturbed. Very, very easy last push. Just muscling their way in, putting their bodies forward, finding the easy frags here and there, and then just winning a 6v3 fight once that Uber had faded. Very, very neat stuff from Forfence. And Pint Gaming, they are really backed against the wall now. They are staring down elimination, and they need an all-time comeback.
2/3 of the mid fights we saw were won by Forfence. Pint Gaming did well on the first 2 mid fights at least, but the third mid fight was definitely a collapse. They weren't able to then deal with the soldiers. Brutchman and Depruu, they're sort of curving early in the bump, which leaves them, you know, a bit miring in obscurity because you don't really know where he's landing. Is this a fake bomb? Will he eventually land? And they're always delaying their bombing attempts, so it makes it very difficult. And we saw the ultimate conclusion there. Andy then tried to counter a soldier which wasn't even jumping in. He was just making space, and the rest of the combo just nuked him away on that mid fight. Then they all tumbled down like dominoes. 4 players down. Soki, sorry, that was not Andy. They tumbled down like dominoes, and Andy couldn't leave with Patchouli anymore. But we see this, a short tactical pause, 4th mid fight.
Absolutely. What have Pint Gaming got in their locker? What ideas are they going to bring out to this mid fight? Can they just get some more energy, some more momentum going? Because they've been on the back foot. They've now had a pause. They've now had a bit of a think about things. But they probably need to start this comeback with a mid-fight victory.
There's definitely some players online and offline in the venue rooting for them being imbued with this TCM dream magic, and Delhi is already the first one to fall, so this opens up all the space. Forfence, no, it's a huge lead we have in terms of points. We don't need to be overzealous or anything, they're just cutting their losses.
Yeah, just really nice coordinated spam onto Delhi, who didn't have his soldiers up to support him just yet. Smiles up in the air, it's just a bit of a fake bomb, not a fake bomb from Depruu. He sees a further place in front of him.
Boom! Oh! And that's it, 2K! Nivo, Mula, down. This is how you warp the enemy team right into that respawn queue and instantly traverse 4th with your own team. Smile doesn't do it, he does the fake bomb this time. Warped does the crucial one.
So devastating from Warped. Just the one rocket pops the medic and the scouts right up, and there we go. Absolute destruction. Big Uber advantage now for Patchouli. They're thinking about what are they going to have to deal with. It's a sentry gun up from QB. It is a heavy up from Nivo. So both scouts swapping off to big static off classes.
Alien very weak before this Uber was popped. A bit of a weird turn of events. Sentry gun is now down. They were seeking counsel in their own combo movement. Where do we want to go from? But no cap time is gathered since the stickies were still laying there. And on the top left, there's a heavy still having his own composure kept up with the team. So nothing is found. The difference here is Delhi wasn't pressured. There was no cap time coming in, and they were just posturing on their own top right. Instead of trying to leave it to spawn, they stayed panic prone.
Took an absolute age to scatter those stickies on point. Neither of the soldiers shooting until far too late, and by the time they'd fired and scattered the stickies, the Uber had already faded, and the soldiers were in position to deny as well.
Fake bomb once more, a curve bomb from Smile. Warped might be the one that is more prominent. No, he also fake bombs out. Smile is not on the field either. So basically buying time on the second to gain 100% in your own Medic's Uber bank. It's already, you know, coming close to a theory here. Do Forfence ever aggressively push? I mean, obviously you don't push from your second to the third, especially not if you're losing 3-0.
Yeah, they're probably not going to take too many chances here. It's really up to Pint there. 3 rounds down. They have control of the mid point, which is really a nice kind of posting station to go forward, to get the aggression going. But there's not too much room to maneuver. If they kind of have a collapse, if they wipe, it could be all over.
Really difficult to ream out a player here and put them into a solitary position. Alien tries to do that, and now there's someone stampeding from IT. You see, Smile once more with a fake bomb, but Warp can't initiate. Smile down, very low on HP. They keep their chess pieces in play, but the difference here is they tried the exact same play once again. Warped was denied though this entrance on IT.
It was a decent little attempt, but unfortunately Patchouli just couldn't get an opening whatsoever to walk into that second point. So Andy Dude was completely separated from his medic, knew there wasn't necessarily an Uber for him to use in that situation. Knew there wasn't much heals as well. Once more, Pachuli's taken a bit of a ton of damage.
Another fake bomb, but that initiates this Uber pop here. Maybe trying to solo out some more players. Deli down to 60 HP before the reflash comes out. They've already claimed so much space here, so it's all on the rockets of the soldiers now. Brugman claims Alien, so probably it's a leave if they cannot find salvation here in terms of counter frags. 4 fans are holding on, both medics still alive. Nevo chases out.
Big from Brugman, just shutting down Alien, who was trying to get a little bit forward, trying to lock down those areas, and absolutely pays with his life. And now everyone from Pint Gaming once more is just going to have to back up, have to give up this mid point, and it's not going to be anything really. Actually, no, Pint, they're contesting, they have 6.
They feel like they have to. Mula is so weak! 20 HP, hops out like a bunny rabbit, hiding in his little hole, but eventually the mechanics were enough. This time around, let's see how that works. Next time, as Warped wants to have another go here at it, Smile also assumes a role. Before it was the double scout really initiating. Pachuli though walks up to the front. They don't have that much time if you set into relation how fast the rounds are going down. Warped, however, is addressed by 3 players here in the IT area, and he has a 3k though, so this is a trade you want to take. Mula does have Uber, but no personnel.
Yeah, absolutely no one really for him to use it on. They can't hold the second point, so they're in this really awkward scenario now, the Frenchies, where they're rounds down, they don't have too many players, still waiting on those spawns, still 3 seconds on them. And Pint are just pushing off the back of it. They know they have way more players to work with. Bomb is now in from Smile, it's shut down by QB. 4 now. Deli's standing strong on the point. He's just spamming away. Mula went down to very low health as well, but survives throughout all of it and thrives, and now has Uber ready to go on to second. Looks like they're already moving.
4 fans want to enter the second point now. The stickies are diffused on the one area, basically baiting them out, but Warped has a very favorable position here. Takes down Brugman. A lot of high damage shots as well. Pachuli with the arrow nails Nevo to the wall, and Smile though is caught a bit in a technicality there, alone in no man's land. Demur fires shots forward. It's a fickle attempt of sort of salvaging your own resources. 100% almost feature on Pachuli, but this is only realistically ticking down time.
Brave play by the French. It's a little bit risky pushing out, even if you have a bit of an advantage. Always pushing out to second against a full 6 players can be awkward. So they just about did enough. They just about got the trades in their favor. Now settling down once more. Pachuli's been able to build up his own
Sticky
Uber.
trap. They haven't the 3 stickies are still in the wall. Oh, they're not aware! They're not aware! And he has to patch up once more in the respawn queue. He shot 1 stickies. There were 3 more.
Yeah, and that is more than enough to take down a medic, and with Pachuli dropping absolute disaster. They're just trying to walk in through this choke point, the Frenchies. Now they have designs on this midpoint, and Soki going very, very low. Warp doing his best, finding Depruu. I don't know if it's going to be enough.
Alien still 1v1, 3v1, and then a Smile comes in and helps his friend out. It was very interesting since the base desires of Andy and Soki are our medic is down, we're off the leash, we can revel in the chaos, but Smile is also adopting this very aggressive foray here. It probably forces Mula, no, still holds on steadfast with his players. They are connecting now. It was a very hazardous attempt, but they ultimately reign triumphant.
Oh, Alien! The fight back, the other demo man finding the stickies onto the medic, taking Mula down once more. 1 medic down, the other medic down within a minute or so. And now, Pint, they need this. They have a big Uber advantage. They have the picks to move into second. They're already going to be thinking, how do we break this last? How do we get a round back? Momentum swinging super back in Pint's favor.
Alien came to Earth for a reason, and now he probably wants his team to narrow down the lead for 4 fans. 3-1 is already glaring up in front of their eyes, 100% now. Alien, in opposed to the other time we saw before, not that much damage, but they're trying to do it. You see it here now, charging through. So cap time after this sentry gun is dealt with is very much important, as they are gaining it a bit. Now Andy though has still with some stickies to deal with. He's ultimately exploded, no soldier rockets on the point, and it is a scuffle once more.
Once more, struggling to find it, but Alien's just walking forward, and Soki's there. No one was in position from the French. Depruu was still back in spawn, and Pint Gaming bring it around back, and we're back to game on.
brilliant play that was. That last point is soaking wet with Soki's cap time, basically, and it was crazy. You are thinking you're all out there, and there we go. The drop, though, that was quite brutal, but 3-1, and I talked about it. The underdog energy, it is coming back.
Absolutely. Pint are going to be feeling themselves now and feeling indeed they have to go forward. It's that Smile immediately getting the position on the midpoint. Depruu just playing it low, Tomato here, but at the moment it's going to be the French soldiers initiating.
Air France is once more on schedule, it seems, though. Andy deals with Depruu deftly by the able help of his own scattergun, and they're posturing up in front of their own sewer area. Once more, not only seeking counsel, seeking heals in this defensive position. Mula might have an Uber advantage after all. It doesn't really matter, though. And 10 minutes, that is still plenty of time, judging from this flow of the game.
Absolutely plenty of time to work with, but Pint Gaming are never really going to step off the accelerator. Both scouts in, QB gunned down, nothing that he could do from that. And now Smile is in, gets the foresight, juggles Delhi up as well. Not too many players here, four fence to work with, so the Frenchies back up to last, but Chuli completely untroubled, just kiting nicely. And once more, Pint are going to have an opportunity to push last.
What am I witnessing? The scouts take one frag each, so 2 players down, and then Smile bombs in since so much space forces the Uber 60% Uber advantage. Now is the crucial part. If they can keep up the momentum, and especially the wonderful conversion rates that we've seen 2 minutes ago when they nailed their last push, it is definitely boding very well for them. Alien takes 1 rocket. You see those double soldiers of the French side, always very recalcitrant to fire aggressive damage forward. Sentry gun only in the process of being built, and that means a lot of cap time comes in way earlier! And Andy now does it all. 0 casualties. What a perfect play to get the conversion.
Absolutely. This time Andy once more stands on the point but gets the flash at the crucial moment when the stickies are deaded, so it doesn't work out, and he's just able to step on the point, get all the cap time for free. The soldiers from France nowhere to be seen, so it comes through very, very neatly. And Tomato,
yes,
we have another tap pause.
We have another tech pause. We have another game on our hands. This LAN has been brimming with highlight reels, with crazy comeback stories, with fantastic games, and it still keeps delivering. It's a perfect Uber push. I talked about it. This time the sentry is set on the other side of the point, but in the process of being built, immediately down to the very first pipe, and that means you can use the rest of the Uber way more deftly to gain cap time. And we see a highlight reel here, basically a soldier showdown, a panic room control there while the point was being kept. Andy basically forcing Ubers by himself. Air France coming in. This game had it all.
Yeah, lots of crazy action, but just about, I mean, it makes sense to pause here because you can really feel the momentum have swung decisively back in Pint Gaming's favour. The players are ready to go. The French have had a think about things. Pint Gaming riding their high, riding that super fast energy, that super potency that they have into another mid-fight here, Tomato. It's all on the line.
Potency might still ever be increasing. We haven't even seen the all-time high of Pint Gaming. I do wager, let's see if they had a little beverage there to boost their own competence up to a much greater extent. Bruchman is once more high bombing, so does Smile, though there are rockets fired on Alien. No one is dying here for the majority of this, but the health really does favor Pint Gaming. Depruu down.
Yeah, finding Depruu in no position whatsoever from the Frenchies, so once more we're seeing them on the back foot. Tactical talk not working out, at least for the mid-fight. And they've stabilised onto second. They're going to have an Uber up from Mula, but Pint Gaming are looking to price this open.
They definitely want to treasure some more players here, as it is warped, jumping in, still keeps alive, but the attempt is thwarted for the most part. They didn't gain enough ground.
Yeah, I think it was exactly the same attempted second push from Pint Gaming, but this time the Frenchies dealt with it. This time the Frenchies knew what was coming and they were more than ready for it. And oh my god, Alien is just completely isolated from everyone else.
Pinned in.
Eventually they find the rocket Brudgerman. very, very nice from him. But with a demo man down, that's going to allow Forfence to move forward at super quick time.
But IT had an Uber push embroidered up upon it. However, now Forfence is only popping now, so the Frenchies are chasing forward in some aggressive manner here. QB, Nevo, they tear them apart. Patchouli, Smile, Andy down.
Yeah, slightly risky play, to be honest. No demo man, just trying to take the Uber in, and they didn't really have a read on where the Frenchies were. They'd already moved into sewer when the Uber.
Oh no, Alien! Okay, that was quite. Rootman was quite weak there. Sorry to interrupt, but it's only 40% Uber advantage here for the Frenchies. Realistically, this is definitely a buildable scenario. Also, it is Depruu sort of denying entrance way to Andy to come up to the panic room, but I hope on the flip side now, Pint Gaming have a better defense than before.
Yeah, really awkward kind of just small take our breath moment now as both teams just build up Uber as fast as they can. It's going to be the Frenchies using in through one. It's on to Deli, it's on to Nevo. They see a sentry gun. Deli gets popped up in the air very, very awkwardly. But he's able to surf into panic room, and now he's able to plow forward. Now he's able to do his best. Budgeman is all the way in. No players left.
No Mula.
Alive for Pint Gaming. Just Alien and Soki. Is it going to be enough? Soki has to hit so many shots here.
It's basically all on Alien. Alien versus 3. They are quite weak, to be quite fair. He also has to delay so much time. He cannot do it, though, 4-2 for Forfence. That was interestingly played, but the problem once more is they're in panic, trying to leave to spawn, and there they lose 2 to 3 players. Mula afterward is also pinned down, eradicated, but they've already suffered so many casualties, and Forfence on match point here.
Yeah, good switch up, I have to say, by Forfence. Not often you see the one push these days, but they really made it happen. They really made it work. Now we move over to mid-fight. Going to beat Deli there nice and fast. And actually, Alien is so low immediately. Going to have to wait for an arrow. He's nice and healthy now, but bought some time here for his other teammates to maybe bail him out. Warp's going very, very low. He's just going to get himself out of there, but maybe an opportunity now to utilize the fact that there's no players for Pint. There's a 5th player. Well, only 5 players on mid, and now there's 0 players on mid because it's completely backed out.
It was a switch up of routes and theories for Pint Gaming on that mid. They tried this time to have way more players on IT and then pushing toward the enemy team's sewer, but it was not really working because they weren't finding any actual important damage there to really nail onto those enemy players. Afterward, Depruu and Brutchman spammed them because if you're all standing in the same location, you're all going to take the same damage. 4.5 minutes, Forfence can turtle back. The ball is in their court.
Yeah, they're holding it close, but I don't think they're going to be going in for Sacros because they know Pint are going to have to make a move. They're just going to take an Uber trade in through the choke point. Andy doing his best, gets a lot of damage down onto Deli, but can't find the flag.
Deli is chasing, and Patchouli is cleaned up by Nevo in the air. I was already strapping in. That's a scatter gun mid air shot, if you so will. Andy not cratering, ultimately dodging out, but it's very difficult for them to hold on. Forfence takes that second point in a nick of time.
Yeah, no heals, so Forfence just standing there waiting for their opponents to walk in at them, and none of them really commit. They know they're back on last. They know there's not really enough time for them to work with, but the repush is coming in. Smile is doing his best, jumping in on Deli, but Deli somehow hits Soki while being launched sideways in the air.
It is definitely brimming with life and enthusiasm for Forfence. It was the last desperate attempt by Pint Gaming. They wanted to try their hands on a force or on a kill on Mula, but that means now there are 2 players down. Very difficult, even an Uber to stare down. It's a very threatening situation here. Andy is down, so the rest of the players really have to pick their pieces up apart, but Smile down. 3 versus 6. This culminates into a French victory on the second map as well. We have the cam now on the victorious Frenchies, probably sweating a little bit. You can already see some of them have lost some clothes in the process of playing this very map. But the Cinderella story, unfortunately, as we see a muscle up there from him, the Cinderella story ends for Pint Gaming.